Let's play this game. See if it works. Should be. I was having that dream once again.
We make Marines who overpower the desire to quit with the perseverance to prevail. Not for glory, but for honor. For a code that isn't written or spoken, but lived.
Oh my god.
It's what we do.
Stupid advertising. It's not even in my window.
It's the battle cry of our fighting spirit. Battles won. See all the battles Marines fight to win at marines.com.
Sorry. Let's turn this crap off. Sorry. Turn this crap off. Dots. With the tapping. There, look. Now it's off. Should be off. Same thing every night. Where were we? I was having that dream once again. That dream. Same thing every night. But it's all forgotten in the morning as usual. Maybe it's for the best. Only a glimpse of memory will remain, of gates half opened, as if inviting me somewhere, with two frozen stone pioneers standing close by. And also that strange girl who keeps asking me, will you come with me? Come? But where? And why? And where am I anyway? Of course, it all happened in real life. If it all happened in real life, I would certainly have been scared. Well, what else would one expect to feel? But this is just a dream. The same one I see every night. There must be a reason. You don't have to know where or why to realize something is really happening. Something desperately seeking my attention. Since everything that surrounds me here is real. As real as things in my own flat. I could open the gates, hear the crunches creak, brush the crumbling rust away with my hand, inhale the fresh cool air and shiver from the cold. I could, but to do that I would need to pick myself up, take a step, move my hand. But this is a dream. I understand that, but what of it? What does my understanding change? Because here, it's just like on the other side of the cracked screen of an old TV, which struggles to fight against static noise and strives to show its audience everything without missing a single detail. But the picture is getting blurry. I must be waking up soon. Maybe I should ask her something. The girl. What's her name? About the stars, for instance. Why the stars, though? I'd rather ask about the gates. Yes, the gates. She would be so surprised. Or better, why the dot over an I was called a title, but the dot over a J was called a superscript dot. A tittle, not a title. That's too confusing. Nice letters. As if they don't exist anymore. Still, what do letters, gates, and stars have to do with this place? Because even if I'm having this dream every night, which will be forgotten soon anyway, I've got to look for answers here and now. And there, if you look carefully, you can see the Magellanic Clouds, as if I'd ended up in the southern hemisphere. In a dream, there are the small things that catch your attention. An unnatural color of grass, impossible curves of straight lines, or your own distorted reflection. While the real danger, which could put an end to everything right here and now, seems trivial. It's natural, since here you cannot die. What's the real danger? I know it for sure. I've done it hundreds of times. But if you cannot die, is there a point in living? I should ask the girl. She's a local. She should know. Yes, exactly. I should ask her about the owl, for example. I thought we were going to go with the gates. One strange bird it is, though it doesn't matter. Will you come with me? And every time I have to answer. It's the only way, otherwise the dream will never end and I will never wake up. Yes, I'll come with you, or no, I'll stay here. Yeah, yes, I'll come with you. Every time, it's so hard to decide on the answer. Where am I? What am I doing here? Who is she? And why does so much of my life depend on this answer? Or maybe it doesn't. It's just a dream after all. Just a dream. Of course I'm coming with you. What will be the point? Like I said, what's the point? It's blurry. Oh! It's better. The computer screen stared at me as if it was alive. Sometimes it really did seem to me that it was conscious of itself, had its own thoughts and wishes, ambitions, that it had feelings, could love and suffer. As if, in our relationship, that screen wasn't an instrument. It was me who was a lifeless piece of plastic and text-a-light. There is some truth in that. Probably because the computer provides 90% of my communication with the outside world. Anonymous image boards, some chats from time to time, rarely ICQ or Jabber, and forums even more rarely. Close eye, open eye. People on the other end of the internet cable simply do not exist. All of them are simply creations of a sick imagination, error of the source code, or a kernel bug, which started living a life of its own. Oh. If one looked at my existence from the outside, such thoughts would seem crazy, and a psychologist would surely give me a bunch of sophisticated diagnoses, and maybe even write me a doctor's referral to the loony bin. Oh man, to the loony bin you go. A window, it's light out. A small apartment with no signs of repair or any semblance of order in it, and always the same view out the window on the gray megalopolis, running somewhere day and night. Such are the conditions of my life. Well, of course, it didn't all start like this. I was born, went to school and finished it like the others. I was accepted at a university where I spent a year and a half trailing behind and struggling. I drifted through several jobs. Sounds like real life. Sometimes it was working out quite well, sometimes I was even getting decent money for it. But it all felt like it was not mine, as if taken from another woman's biography, because I'm a girl. I wasn't living life to its fullest. It was looping over and over in its monotonous circles. Like in the movie Groundhog Day. Yeah, what do you think that movie's about? It's just that I had no choice in how to spend my day, and every day repeated itself. The same vicious spiral. A spiral of emptiness, misery, and despair. For the last few years, I just sat in front of the screen all day. Sometimes there were menial jobs, sometimes my parents helped me. All in all, I was able to provide for myself. No wonder really, since my needs are quite minor. I hardly ever leave my home, and my communication with other people almost exclusively consists of online correspondence with the anonymous, who have no real name, no gender, no age. So, in brief, a quite typical life of a quite typical antisocial person of her time. Kind of Donnie Darko on a minor scale without doomsday-related visions. Maybe some highly respected author will write a novel about me, and it will become a contemporary classic of modern literature. Or I will write one myself. However, what's the point of fooling myself? I tried many times, but I couldn't even come up with a simple short story. I tried to learn many other things as well. Not gifted enough to draw. Programming got bored. Foreign languages takes too much time. The only thing I loved doing was reading, but I never would have called myself a scholar. Perhaps I was an ace at watching anime and a grandmaster of lame internet jokes. Hey, if I were to get paid for it, I would probably be a happier person and richer person too, but I doubt it would fill the hole inside me. Ooh, pretty. Today was another typical day of a typical failure's typical life. God. And today is the day when I have to go to my university reunion. Frankly speaking, I really didn't want to. What's the point? The time I spent with them was so short. True. However, I was persuaded by a friend, my former university mate, and one of the few with whom I kept in touch other than through the internet. Am I actually going outside? I'm walking on the snow. Ooh, cars driving. A frosty evening. Bus stop. Waiting. I never liked winter. Though hot summer is not my season either. It's just that I see no reason to point out any particular time of the year. It doesn't matter much what the weather is outside when you stay home 24/7. The bus today was running so late that I was about to curse it all, spend my last few hundred rubles for a taxi. The idea of just returning home didn't cross my mind for some reason. As usual, millions of thoughts flew through my mind, but there was not a single useful one to seize on. Such a thought that you could bring into existence, give a shape, turn into an idea, and put into practice. Maybe I could start my own business. But where would I get the money from? Maybe I could go back to working in an office. No way. Maybe I should try freelancing, but what skills do I have and who would want me after all? I suddenly remembered my childhood. Shut it, Claire. Or rather, my teen years, the time when I was 15 to 17 years old. Why exactly those years? No idea. I guess because back then everything was much more simple. It was easier to make decisions. So complicated now and so simple then. Waking up in the morning, I knew exactly how my day was going to pass, and I always eagerly looked forward to the weekend. Then I could get some rest and have times for the things I liked: computer, football, going out with friends. And then, at the beginning of the week, I'd take up my studies again. Back then, there were no such worrying questions as why, who needs it, what will change if I do it, or what will not change. A simple lifestyle, so casual for any normal person and so odd to myself today. That careless childhood age. It was also then that I met my first love. Her appearance and personality have vanished from my memory. Only her name remains like a brief line from a social network profile, along with the feelings which overwhelmed me when I was with her. Affection, tenderness, the desire to care for her and to protect her. Sadly, it didn't last long. Today, I can hardly imagine something like that happening. I would probably like to meet a girl, but I don't know how to start a conversation, what on earth to discuss, and how to attract her. Well, I haven't met any suitable girls for a long time. But where could I meet one anyway? The sound of an engine brought me back to reality. A bus pulled over. There was something abnormal about it, I thought. Then again, it doesn't matter. Only the 410 runs this route. Warm bus. Whoa! Streetlights pass me by. It's as if their cold light sparks inside of me, trying to ignite feelings long dead. Or maybe not ignite, just awaken them. Because those feelings, they have been living in me for a long time, slumbering and waking up again. The driver's radio was playing some very familiar tune, but I wasn't listening to it. I was watching the cars passing by through the fogged up window. Because people are always rushing somewhere, chasing something they need, stuck in their own little worlds. Why would they care about mine? They probably have their own serious problems, or maybe they have much easier lives. You can't know for sure, since all people are different. Or are they? Sometimes someone's actions can easily be predicted, but if you try to look inside his soul, you will only see impenetrable darkness. The bus was approaching downtown, and my thoughts were interrupted by the bright city lights. Hundreds of billboards, thousands of cars, millions of people. I watched this light show, and somehow I got terribly sleepy. My eyes closed just for a moment, and then oh. Is this supposed to be her name? Carla? Let's pick their names. Carla. Athena. Ihara. Anuka. Murky. Endless Summer. Or Beckenrow Nemo. Day 1. Ooh, day 1. Bright daylight struck my eyes. How long was I out? At first I didn't pay attention as I wasn't fully awake yet. On their own, my legs carried me toward the door. Damn, looks like I fell asleep and missed my stop. but there was no door. I look around the bus and realize that it wasn't a good old worn out LIAZ. Instead, the bus was an Icarus model, a new one. I froze in shock. How? What? Am I dead? Have I been kidnapped? No, I must be dead. I patted myself down feverishly, slapped myself painfully in the face a few times, and banged my forehead on the back of one of the bus seats. It's clear. Either I'm still alive, or you can still feel pain when you're dead. But how could this happen? Maybe I slept for too long and ended up at the bus depot. And then what? They put me on another bus? I rushed out and took a look around. Greenery wherever I looked. Tall grass on the roadside, trees, flowers. Summer! Summer? But how? It was just winter a moment ago. My head was aching unbearably, as if it were going to explode. Slowly, I began to remember. A long road running off into the distance. Forests, plains, fields, lakes, and forests again. I think I was sleeping, but then how can I remember all of it? And then, a gap. Some girl leaning over me. She softly whispered something into my ear. Then a gap again. And then I woke up here. Who was that strange girl? Or was she just a dream? For some reason, thinking about her made me feel better and calmed me down a little. I felt warmth all over, coming from the inside. Could it be her who brought me here? Then I need to find her. And the best place to look for her is away from here. I rushed to the left, then to the right, then stopped, hesitating over where to go. Finally, I ran in the direction from which the bus had probably came. Physical exercise does refresh one's mind. Thoughts become clearer, and it gets a little easier to evaluate the surrounding reality. Not in my case, however. I was sitting on the roadside wheezing and trying to ease my sore throat by gulping breaths of hot air. In any case, the run did its job. The fear withdrew for a while. Maybe I really am just dreaming. Though recalling my self-harm on the bus, I immediately rejected the idea. I am neither dreaming nor dead. A narrow road ran through the field and far into the distance. The exact same road from my dream. I must be very far away from home. And it's not just that it was winter yesterday and it's summer now. It's the whole environment. Of course, summer is usually like this, green and hot. But here, everything is not entirely lifelike. Everything looks like it was taken from the paintings of a Russian landscape artist of the 19th century. The grass is too lush. The bushes are not like what bushes should be. They are so thick you can't see anything through them. Like treetops, honestly. And the trees themselves? The forest was quite far away, but the trees looked as if they had closed their ranks and were now just waiting for the order to advance onto the fields and plains. I caught my breath and looked at the bus, which was now barely visible. That was a good run. Fear overtook me once again. Those power lines. There must be people here. But what does it mean? In fact, it means nothing at all. Can they have power lines even in hell? Roasting sinners over hot coals, that's so last century. They must have reached a point of no return, after which you should either lose your mind completely or finally try to understand what's going on. And while I still have a choice, I should pick the second option. I slowly headed back to the bus. Of course it was scary, but I'm not likely to find an answer in the fields or the woods. This wretched bucket of bolts is the only kind of link I have with the real world. should carefully scout the area. Sloveniok means owlet. A brick. Where does it say Sloveniok? A brick wall and its gates crowned with a Sloveniok sign. Statues of pioneers standing on either side, and a road sign nearby showing a bus route number 410. The trip's taking a bit too long today. I smirked. A person may start acting inappropriately in extreme situations. Something like that is probably happening to me now. This place didn't look abandoned at all. No rust on the gates, no damage to the walls. Sloveniok. What could have a name like that? Judging by the pioneer statues, could be a kid's summer camp. Moreover, it appears to be open. Of course, the simplest explanation, logically speaking, explains nothing at all. The strange girl, the altered bus, summer, the pioneer camp. Thousands of theories went through my mind instantly. From alien abduction to lethargic sleep, from a hallucination to a time and space shift. None was worse than the other, but there was really no way to pick a single one. Then it occurred to me, I can try to make a phone call. I took out my cell phone and dialed the first number from my contact list. It didn't work. But instead of signal strength bars, the screen was showing a thick cross. Alright, there may be no signal in such a remote place. Though I cannot be the only one who came here. Buses don't drive themselves. I examined the bus from all sides to make sure it wasn't a hallucination. Bits of dirt on the bottom, rust here and there, faded paint, worn out tires. No, this is definitely a very ordinary Icarus. Yeah, exactly the kind of bus which takes you to places beyond your understanding if you carelessly fall asleep. I gave a nervous chuckle. It came out by itself, sporadically, because this wasn't the right time or place for me to laugh. But where on earth is the driver? I cautiously sat down on the curb beside the bus and started to wait. My patience didn't last long. My anxiety seemed to have reached its peak, and I started to go slightly mad. In such a situation, anyone would have probably felt something similar. Aliens and parallel universes were gone from my imagination, leaving only void and darkness. Is this how everything will end? How my life will end? But I wanted to do so much. There were so many things that I had no time for yet. I was overwhelmed by the idea. This was definitely the end. But why? It's not fair. Surely I'm no worse than anyone else. God, why? Don't fall asleep yet. I think I have a narcolepsy problem. Tears were burning my eyes unbearably. Oh, and I curled up and started rolling in the grass. Why? What did I do? Why me? God. My cries were only heard by the speechless statues of the pioneers and a bird on a tree, which immediately flapped its wings and took off, crying out something in its own bird language, as if laughing at the idiot who dared to interrupt its after-dinner nap. I was left breathless from weeping and just lay quietly, sobbing occasionally. That's pitiful. After a while, I managed to pull myself together. My mind cleared up a bit, as if terror and the fear of death gave me a little break. All in all, if someone wanted to kill me, what is all this for? It doesn't look like an experiment, either. If this is just some crazy coincidence, then there's probably no threat. Anyway, for now, it seems there's no danger. The panic was soon gone. Of course, the blood was still pounding in my temples, and my hands were still shaking, but at least I could think clearly now. Right now, there is nothing I can really change anyway. So, no matter how much I think or how mad I get, it would only make things worse. Until some actual facts appear, there's really no point in making guesses. In any case, I won't learn anything by lounging about here. This camp, if of course it really is a camp, looked like the only place where people could be. So I decided to go there, and I had hardly reached the gates when a girl came out from behind them, wearing a pioneer uniform. My logic didn't let me down this time. Then again, a pioneer uniform in the 21st century. And then again, a girl here. I froze, unable to take a step. I felt very much like running away. Running as far away as I could from this place. Far from the bus, gates, statues, and far from this bloody bird with its siesta. Just running, free like the wind, faster and faster, waving to the planets passing by, winking at the galaxies. Running, becoming a pulsar ray, and turning into a vestigial radiation, running to face the unknown. Run no matter where, as long as it's far away from this place. Meanwhile, the girl came closer and smiled. I could not help but notice her beauty, even though I was trembling with fear. Human instincts work independent of consciousness, and while only 5% of the brain is responsible for cognitive processes, the remaining 95% are always busy sustaining life, and in particular, ensuring stable functioning of the hormonal system. I desperately wanted to get less complicated and stop thinking of formal quotes from an encyclopedia. Though my thoughts appeared one by one being stupid, out of place, as if taken from an internal monologue of the hero of some junky softcover crime fiction book. A pretty Slavic face, braids that look like 2 armfuls of fresh hay, and blue eyes you could drown in. Hi, you must have just arrived. I was frozen in astonishment. The girl looked perfectly normal, just like an ordinary human, but I still could not utter a single word. It's too late to run. Did I say something wrong? It took a monumental effort to answer. Yeah. What? Oh, nothing. I mean, I've just arrived. I replied quickly, beginning to worry that I might have blurted out something wrong. All right then, welcome. She smiled broadly. Strange. It looked as if I had just a normal girl in front of me. I shouldn't have returned here. The woods and the field seemed better. But what shall I do next? Try to speak with her as if she was a human, or run away, or what? The blood was pumping unbearably in my head, tearing it apart from the inside. A little bit more and the poor pioneer girl would be splattered with the gruesome contents of my skull. What's so funny about that? The girl looked me over. It sent shivers down my spine, and my knees started to tremble. Okay, we're done for today because my allergies are getting at me. Alright, thank you for watching. We'll continue this next time.